currencies with high current account deficit have come under pressure. Where do you see support coming in for the currencies?
I think we're going to see a bit of a bounce back pretty soon. I think a lot of these currencies are sold off because of concerns about a tapering by the Fed, but I think those concerns are overdone. Even if the Fed were to taper its asset purchases to some extent in the next, say, 3 to 6 months, you still have a situation where quantitative easing is going to be significant, both by the Fed and other major central banks, and so I think that will be supportive of a bit of a recovery in these emerging market currencies.
How do you read the Japanese yen volatility, and what's your reading on the currency, especially after the recent BOJ policy meeting?
I still do expect to see some further weakness in the yen over the next 6 to 12 months. I just don't think it's going to be as steady and as significant as we saw at the start of the year. And that's been borne out, I think, the last few weeks with the volatility and the pullback in dollar yen. There's always, I think, going to be a bit of uncertainty and concerns about the Bank of Japan's immediate plans, but they've already announced, I think, significant monetary expansion, and that should, I think, prompt some further weakness in the yen over time. In the very near term, though, of course, there's going to be a little bit of volatility as people try and work out the relative impact of what the Fed's planning to do and what the Bank of Japan's planning to do. But over the medium term, I do expect to see a resumption of a more gradual yen weakness.
The Indian rupee has seen record lows in the week, while the concerns on Fed tapering off QE have led to sell-off in most Asian currencies. What are your views? Do you think the Indian rupee has overreacted?
I think so. Obviously, there are concerns about a potential tapering of Fed asset purchases, but even if that were to happen sometime in the next, say, 3 to 6 months, we've still got a situation where quantitative easing by the Fed and other major central banks is still very significant. So I think you're still going to have very accommodative global liquidity conditions going forward, and I think that is going to be supportive for currencies such as the rupee. So I do expect a bit of a bounce back from this sell-off over the last few weeks.
International banks are now putting the rupee outlook at 56 to 58 level from a 6 to 12-month perspective. How do you see the Indian rupee ranging?
I think we're going to go back to around the 55 level over the next 6 to 12 months. I think that if you look at the global situation, I think quantitative easing is still going to be significant. That's going to be supportive for currencies like the rupee. And I think domestically, there are also some supportive factors. You have the RBI has been cutting rates in recent months. That's going to, I think, support the medium-term growth outlook. And we've also had some signals from the government in recent days that they're going to do more to both curb gold imports and also boost foreign capital inflows into India. Both of those things, I think, should be positive for the rupee over the medium term.
What's your view on the dollar index on the back of some strong economic data and talks of curbing stimulus?
Well, we've had a fairly pro-dollar bias for most of the year, and when we do see the dollar sell off, as it has in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we do become a little bit more aware of the potential, I think, for positioning for those medium-term dollar gains. Over May, the dollar did see some pretty solid gains, and we got a little bit neutral about the outlook there. But since then, the dollar has pulled back, and I think that there will be opportunities at some stage to go long the dollar against certain currencies in line with our medium-term views for better dollar performance.